Hello class, and welcome to this Pirates walkthrough right here on Video Games 101 by way of Let's Play with Brigands. I'm your instructor, Professor Brigands, although you could probably call me Captain today, seems more appropriate. Actually, I hope we'll go for a even better title, but we'll talk about that as we get into the game, but I absolutely love Pirates. This is the NES port we're playing today, but our Pirates walkthrough can be applied to any version of the game. But on the NES, you'd be hard-pressed to find a more versatile gaming experience. You get to grow your crew, take on other pirates, attack entire cities by sea or land, get in sword fights, search for buried treasure, find long-lost family members, and even woo and marry a lovely lady. In terms of difficulty, this game isn't too bad. You can actually choose your own difficulty. Fluff's going to talk more about that on the other side of the intro, but I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10, which on the frustration scale equates to biting down on your controller. Typically, the only time you're going to do that in this game is if you hit some reefs and ship sinks and you lose however much percentage of your gold that you had at the time. That's pretty frustrating, but other than that, it's just a fun time, and we're going to show you how to get a perfect score in this Pirates walkthrough. Blaze has a ship and lady guide, which I'm really looking forward to, and Fluff has some really interesting facts about this game, so stay tuned in. This is going to be a fun one. Alright, so as we start a new game here, there are a few choices to make right off the top. So, with more information on that, on which difficulty to select, which time period, specialty, we're going to go to our resident fact finder Fluff for more.
Hey, Professor. So first, you can choose to play either in a historical time period or just the default, which is 1660. I recommend the default as most of the earlier time periods feature far less towns, which means less opportunity for you. Next, I recommend choosing English as your nationality, as this gives you a lot of Spanish towns to attack in particular and plunder, while still giving you a decent amount of English towns to trade with. I recommend Apprentice for difficulty, as it's the most fun while still giving you a fair amount of challenge, particularly if you're new to the game. Lastly, you can choose your special ability. Fencing makes sword fights easier, navigation gives you better speed and handling in your ship, gunnery allows you to hit enemies from your ship with less effort, wit and charm earns you more land, promotions, and luck with the ladies, and skill at medicine allows you to weather injuries better, which makes for a longer career. I should mention these abilities have a greater impact on the harder difficulties, but generally wit and charm is the most valuable, as one of the main points of the entire game is to earn as much fame, land, and promotions as possible.
Thank you very much, Fluff. Yeah, on this difficulty, I don't think any of these are going to have a huge impact. I'm going to try navigation, as I've never tried it, see if it makes a difference. But here we go. Young and poor, we seek fortune in the new world. But our debts only grow on the plantation, so... Heard that before. We need a change of scenery. There we go. Strapping, young Mr. Professor. Oh, the seamen are actually buccaneers. We're so green. We're like, oh my gosh. And so we're going to be the new captain of the ship, assuming we can win this first duel. This one is pretty much lose-proof. You'd have to be pretty bad to lose this first duel, and we take down the captain just like that. Hopefully we never find ourselves in his shoes with our crew mutineering against us. There we go. It's time to set course for adventure, fame, and fortune along the fabled Spanish Main. So they'll start you out in, depending on what your nationality is, in a different town, and they'll just kind of give you an idea of what's around. All the nearest towns of each nationality. So the first thing we'll do is visit with the governor. He'll let you know who we're at war with. So the English right now are at war with the Spanish and the Dutch. So if we take down the Spanish and the Dutch, we'll get to that in a second. Let's go to the tavern first. There's always going to be a number of pirates who want to sign up for your crew. 24 men, pretty good considering we're a nobody right now. I think that's pretty much always locked in, that first 24, but that'll vary depending on a lot of factors as you visit the tavern. Nothing else to do with those other options right now, so let's head out. And then just kind of intermittently, we will get notifications when we see other ships. You can check them out. In this case, we see it's Admiral Organez or something like that. I don't know. We're going to take him down. So we'll talk about the controls in just a second, but right now it's Ram Admiral Organez's ship here, where we'll face off in another duel, very similar to the first one that we fought. We have 3 swords to choose from, the rapier, the longsword, and the cutlass. Rapier is the longest reach, but least amount of damage. Cutlass is the shortest reach, but the most damage, and longsword is in between. I always like to go with the cutlass myself. The trade-off in length is not an issue. You get a lot of damage out of the cutlass, so just makes every hit count all the more. We'll bring Gary in here to explain the mechanics of the sword fighting and how to always win in just a second, but first we can choose to keep the ship by sending a prize crew. It's good to do that since we only have one ship. And you can also ask them about the location of the treasure fleet, the silver train, or you can just take them hostage. I never understood that. How about you tell me where both those things are, and I'll still take you hostage because last I checked, all your men just joined my crew, but I digress. It was a different time. We can hit select to take a look at the status of our crew. Crew is pleased right now. We'll talk about why that matters in just a moment, but we'll also see any prisoners that we have at the moment. So we just captured this guy. We can also see our personal status, by the way, what our status is with every country, the 4 nations. If we have any maps, we can take a look there. We can get some information on all the cities, kind of have the latest updates. Depending on what information we get, we take Sunsight to get our latitude and longitude. So we just captured there's an English ship. Don't want to attack them. Would be nice to have a merchantman. So we just captured a pirate right outside this town. So if we see the governor, it's a good chance, yep, he'll want to trade him. And then he just already gave us a promotion with a very creepy smile. I could do without the smile. And every time we get a promotion from a nation, we get some land to go along with it. Talk more about that in just a second as well. There's just a lot going on in the early days here. A lot of times one of the governors will tell you about an evil Spaniard who knows about whichever member of your family you're looking for at the moment. This is our sister first and foremost. It always goes in that order. And so this guy's around the Villa Hermosa town. And this is a good time to take a look at the Briggs notes for pirates. So at the top of that list, most important rule in pirates is to have your map handy at all times. One came bundled with the game typically. You can just do a search for Pirates map, NES, and you'll find some images. But this is essential for knowing where the towns are. In this case, we want to go to Villa Hermosa. I think I'm saying that right. I might not be. But it's over in the west area of the Spanish Main here. So that's where we're headed right now. To find out more information on our sister. Number 2, pay attention to your crew's status. We showed you how to do that. Hit select and go to party. And you can check out your crew's status. If they're unhappy or angry, that's a sign that you need to attack a town or just attack a ship. Just do something to cheer them up. You got to make some money. That's why they're in this game, you know? They're not here to sightsee or just sail around aimlessly. And the more pirates that you have in your crew, the bigger your crew, the harder it is to keep them happy. So keep that in mind. If you have a lot of money, that will keep them a little bit happier. But again, you can't go too long in between. And that's good. This is a good time to mention. Don't back out of a sword fight like I accidentally did there. You'll take a hit to your status, your reputation. Now we are known as a cowardly apprentice. Don't worry, we'll fix that. By the end of this Pirates walkthrough, we will be the most feared man in the Spanish Main. Mark my words. That's not an official status in this game, but I think they'll know. They'll know when they had a run-in with Mr. Professor. Or is it Major Professor at this point? I don't know. We did get that promotion. But yeah, just pay attention to your crew status. Check it on that every now and then, especially if you've just signed up a bunch of new crew members. The crew might not be too stoked on that. So do more deeds between governor visits to get more land. So we captured that one guy in that one pirate outside of Port Royal and immediately turned around and turned him into the governor. And just because it was our first promotion, it was pretty easy to do. That's all we had to do. But generally, as a rule of thumb, it's a good idea to just do as many deeds as possible, take out as many enemy towns, Spanish in this case, in between going to see the governor at an English town. And then when you get your promotion, you'll still only go up by one level in the promotion, even if you've taken out every Spanish town in the game, but you'll get a lot more land. And I'm not sure there's a cap per promotion. You can get over 1,000. You saw we got 50 just for turning in that pirate, so not great. And there's only so many promotions you can get, so you want to max out the land that you get with those promotions. So taking out a lot of enemy ships, taking out a lot of enemy towns will add to your land. And then lastly, use our combat tips to just crush it in this game. We'll have Gary talk about how to nail the sword fights every time. There's a very good technique that he has lined up for you. And we'll talk more about how to attack towns shortly. Right now, we are just headed down to Villahermosa. It's a small landlocked town right here to find the Spaniard who knows something about our sister. So normally when you're attacking a landlocked town, it's a lot more difficult, and we'll do that a bit later, but this one is so small that it's just going to throw us right into the battle. There's no forts at this one, right? So if we hit attack right now, and we'll get our cutlass again, we're going to fight this guy, and you'll notice that we have our men versus the enemy forces men count right there, and it shows the morale. There are 8 different morale levels, and depending on how quickly you win the sword fight, the morale will quickly swing in your favor. And here's the guy we're looking for. So the exact same thing. Gonna fight this guy. No army though this time, one-on-one. We have all the time we want. But yeah, let's take it down. And a few extra whacks for holding out on our sister. He looks very cocky, I'd say, for a gentleman who just got stabbed many, many times. So this guy gives us a map, or at least a quarter of a map, which shows where our sister is. So it's somewhere on the overworld map. And you could see from the tiny little piece we have, not a whole lot of clues coming out of that. Just some land, and there's water next to it, and you can see like a bit of reef or shallows. But yeah, that doesn't really narrow it down all that much. Sometimes you can see more pieces of land, which gives us more of a clue, but not much to do with that. So we'll just keep our eyes peeled for sort of a corner piece of land that has some of that reef sticking out of it. Might as well take down some Spanish ships while we're in the area. We took down that first town. That's good. So every time I start a battle with the ship, I like to raise my sails by hitting up. Let's take a look at the controls finally, by the way. So movement with the D-pad. We can go to the menu, which we saw earlier with select. Pause the game with start. B is pretty much only used during the sword fights. And then A does pretty much everything else. It selects things on the menu, or when we're in town and picking from a menu there. We have the weak attack with A in one of these sword fights. It fires the cannon in the ship, and on foot, when we're doing one of the land battles, it changes your army. Those are basically the controls for pirates. And every time we take down an enemy ship or a town, we can take their various goods, their food, sugar, goods, and cannons. Those are the 4 items you could plunder in the old pirate days. So we want to take everything we can, just, as long as we have room for it on our ship. So let's finally attack a town by boat right here. So I always like to raise my sails by tapping up on the D-pad. And then the strategy for avoiding the enemy cannon fire is to just go in one direction, and then as soon as they fire that cannon, you hear that sound, you start moving. Just like this. We zigzag back and forth. Note the wind is going to affect how fast you're moving. The wind is coming from kind of the direction we're going right here, but alright, switch to just east, so we picked up there in the end. We're heavily outmanned right here, so we want to take down this guy quickly. If we wait too long, the enemy army will wipe out a lot of our men, and that greatly increases the chances that this guy can win the battle. It's all about morale. But once we take him down, you always see this screen right here. It shows you how much gold you got from him. So we're going to head back to the Port Royale area. The fun little star wipe. Every pirate loves a star wipe. And we're going to go after this larger Spanish town. But let's finally go to Gary to get the overview on how to win these sword fights. Gary?
It's Scary Gary's Boss Beaters. Alright, the sword fights in Pirates are pretty much the closest thing we have to a boss in this game. And the strategy is always the same, and it's very effective. First, hold up at the start to get your opponent to block high, and then hit him low, and then just go back high. Just kind of alternate. Make sure you're always using the strong swings with B. You can even use one of these at the beginning of the fight to get to that other swordsman a little bit faster. This is important if you're kind of outmanned, taking down a very tough city, in particular like a Panama or something which has hundreds and hundreds of men. So you need to win these battles very quickly, and yeah, this is a good strategy for doing it. And then just move left and right and stay at length so they can't do one of those little stabs with A, so you can avoid damage. And then you get a little extra boost when you hit the B, and that'll bring you in. So just kind of stab, move back a little bit with them, pick your next placement, alternate up and down, hit them with B again, and yeah, those strong hits will add up very quickly, whether or not you have a specialty in fencing. But that's how you win the sword fights in Pirates.
Very reliable, thank you, Gary. And yet, time is of the essence in a lot of these battles when you're heavily outmanned. You really shouldn't be able to take down an army of 400 or 500 with an army of 50, but that's just how Major Professor gets things done. We're about to be, well, we'll see. I don't know what our next promotion's going to be. I think there's about 9 or 10 different levels you can get to with each different nationality. So we're a captain now. We were always a captain, but you can see we did quite a bit more this time. And we got 350 acres of land with this promotion. And Maracaibo, we have another Spaniard has information on our sister. So here's the thing, as we stop in with the merchant, we can sell off some of our stolen goods. I don't think he cares if they're stolen or not. Sugar is sugar, although stolen sugar does taste a little bit sweeter, if I'm honest. So you can see we got, well, that was 28 men again. Probably because our crew's happy, that's good. Probably only 28 because our reputation took that big hit when we accidentally walked away. But let's head down south to Maracaibo now to get more information, because that tiny piece of the map is just not enough. Now here's the thing, if you can find your sister with that tiny piece of the map, that first one's like a warning shot, that next one would hit if they were that close. If you can find your sister with the one piece of the map that you have, then the next time you go to the governor, he'll tell you that the Spaniard has information on your father or something like that. It's whoever the next member of your family is. So it's more efficient, obviously, if you can find your family member with less of the map. But when we take down this guy, he's going to give us another quarter of the map. Imagine that. Him and the last Spaniard we took down each had a quarter of the map on showing where our sister is located. So you get a bit more if you put in the work. It's going to tell us, I assume, after we take this stuff that we're... Oh, we already left. All right. Well, Santa Marta a few months ago. Normally, I'm surprised. We came straight here from Port Royal. It's not that far. Generally, if you make the trip straight from when they tell you where the person is, you'll be able to catch up to them, unless it's on the other side of the world, which it's not exactly in this case. But Santa Marta's just over here to the west. It's not too far, so we should be able to catch up with him here. But it's not that big of a deal if you need to go to a couple towns to, or track down a couple Spaniards to get pieces for the map for your family members. It's a bit different later on, as I'll explain, once we finally find our sister. But yeah, I always like to raise the sails when we start a battle, as we are completely outmanning this guy. See how many of his crew members want to join us. All 12 maybe, or 10, I guess. We shot 2 of them at the end. How about that? Even the captain wanted to join us. I guess we'll take down Rio on the way. Be very careful with the shallows here, the reef. This will tear up your ship. More so the bigger ships. And we'll have Blaze do a rundown of the ships very soon, once we have a chance to catch our breath here. But, yeah, you can get away with it a little bit, especially on the easier difficulty of running over some of those shallows, but you really don't want to take a chance of it tearing up one of your ships and your ship sinking, because, you know, you'll lose half your gold, a quarter of your gold, however many ships you have, divide that, and that's how much gold you'll generally lose. So we don't just want to give up our supplies needlessly like that. Just keep alternating right here with the strong hits. This guy's not even trying to fight back. Probably wise, as I keep stabbing him. 9,100 gold pieces, not a bad haul. Looks like some of it went straight into our crew's mouth to make up for the teeth. I don't know, they getting into that sugar, I suppose. So if you raise your sails, you'll generally get on average 2 to 3 extra ticks of speed. So that makes getting to your opponent a lot easier, a lot faster. That's always my main goal. I don't even bother with the cannons, because I'm not trying to sink the other ship, you know. Generally, I want the ship, I want all their goods. Why would you want to sink it? Obviously, raising your sails leaves you open to taking more damage if one of their cannons hits. So that's why the zigzag maneuver, classic pirate zigzag maneuver, is just so very important. It works a lot better on these when you're attacking one of these towns with your ship, because obviously the forts don't move. So it's more effective in that sense. But yeah, sometimes you got to drag these battles out a little bit. Depends on the wind, depends on how many obstacles, reefs you need to get around to get to the fort. It's pretty evenly matched right here. 85 on 93. You'll notice that we don't really lose that many men when our morale is, when the morale is shifted in our favor. So when we're firm or better, there's a greater chance that, son of a bit, Maracaibo, we just came from there. Was he hiding somewhere? Well, that's crazy. That is very frustrating. Wow. All right. We should just slap everybody in town for hiding this guy. Ooh, it's a fancy ship right here, the War Galleon. All right. We don't want the cannons of that ship to hit us. 30 cannons would tear our poor little sloop apart. So we're going to have a choice to make here with his crew. A lot of men are going to want to join us here. Considering we just took his ship, I don't know, I guess we could take a bunch of his crew. We'll see how many want to join up. But look at all that space in the hold we have now. Everything maxes out at 255, so that's why we can't take any. Yeah, everybody wants to join. You can see the crew's no longer happy. They're just pleased because there's just too many men, and they all see that their cut just went down considerably. kind of want to hit this ship with our war galleon just to... the cannons on this thing just to show them off. You see the cannon fire always comes out, like in this case, it would always come out to the right. Always comes out, you know, the long side of your ship, and this guy's probably just going to get away because our war galleon's not as fast. Yeah, son of a... Oh, that would be so satisfying if those 32 cannons landed. Probably sink him in one go. This is a slower ship, though. You could see when we were fighting against the wind for a second, I think we were even going backwards. Yeah, crew's not going to like that we had to sail away. We're doing well. You check up on your own health right there, too. If you ever get captured in a battle, then that affects your health. So, definitely want to avoid taking, you know, having your final ship going down or losing a battle when you attack a town. That's a great way to get captured and have your health suffer. Especially when we didn't go with skill and medicine. But again, this is the easiest difficulty, so it probably won't count that much against us. So I want to know what the heck is going on here in Maracaibo. This guy better be here. I'm going to flip out. Oh, a regular galleon. Fighting the wind. Just getting sucked away. That was a bit of a glitch there. But there are 244 men now. That's kind of crazy. Got them all on one ship. Obviously, the size of your army swings the morale in your favor a lot more easily. Alright, this guy says he's in Maracaibo. That's something. We can top off the food that we ate. 118, wow. We have 410 men. This might be the most men I've ever had in this game. I usually try to... And the treasure fleet's in town, alright. You've seen before that we've had the chance to ask pirates that we've captured where the treasure fleet is. If you attack a town while the treasure fleet is in town and you succeed, you will get a very large haul. So if we can take down Maracaibo right now, it's not going to be like your normal 4,000 gold or anything like that. This is going to be sweet. This is going to make everybody happy very quickly. All 400 and, well, probably not that, probably like 400 men now. A couple of them died in this battle fighting for the cause, but let's see how much the haul was. No, we got to grab this. All right. I'm glad you're in town this time. This is, you know what? It worked out. We had to go to another town just to come full circle back here, but we wouldn't have gotten the treasure fleet had we not come back. All right, cool. More of the map, but more importantly, what's the haul? I think I might know where that is. I'm not sure. Taking a look at the map. We'll talk about how to find these more effectively in just a moment. I think this is probably the southwestern part of the map. I could be wrong. Yeah, I think that might be like a lake down there. I think that's ocean to the north. You can actually use the map online. All right, let's see what we got here. 79,000 gold pieces. That's the beauty and magic of the treasure fleet. And we've just cleaned them out. We left 6 food for them. Fantastic. Got a major. All right, I just want to take down one ship in my ridiculous, completely unnecessary war galleon. It's just so unwieldy. It's very hard to land. Let's see, this might hit. There you go, that's a gimme. The ship is sinking after one hit. But we're fighting the wind. So their speed's going to go down when they lose. First, I think it goes... what is it? It's like spar damage, lost a mast, or sail damage, lost a mast. hull leaking, and then ships sinking. So those are sort of the different stages. And yeah, your speed goes down the more damage your ship takes. And I just want to kind of put them out of their misery. It's a thing of beauty. Alright, so now that we got some time, while I try to figure out where this map might be pointing us to our sister, let's go to Blaze to get a rundown on all of the various ship types right here in Pirates. Blaze?
Alright, let's talk about the types of ships you can command in Pirates. There are 9 of them, which you can command, which you can steal. I guess let's just say what it is. You're going to steal these ships from other pirates, from other countries, what have you. How are you going to get the ships? You can have up to 8 ships at a time in your command, so keep that in mind. I have this spiffy chart right here. You can see all of the different basic information stats on all of the ships in Pirates. The sloop, the pinnace, the bark, the cargo flute, the merchantman, the frigate, the galleon, and then the fast and war galleons as well. Note that the biggest ship which you command is going to be your flagship, your command ship. This is the one that you will see on the main map when you're just going around. You can always choose which ship you want in battles, but when you're moving around on the overworld map, you'll be using your biggest and slowest ship as a result. So if you want to be moving around a little bit faster, a little bit tighter with those turns on the overworld map, then I recommend sticking to a small ship fleet. Just note that you're going to pay for that in cargo capacity, so not as much room to put all the things you're going to plunder. Not necessarily a best ship in this game. As a result, it's more what your playstyle kind of drives towards. Every ship has its strengths and weaknesses, so keep that in mind, and happy plundering.
All right, thank you, Blaze. Yeah, myself, I'm a sloop man in these battles because I like how it maneuvers. Even though we can only take 96 men into battle, which, well, let's see how many we're going up against here. This is going to be one of the big ones. Wow, that might be a record, 505. So we need to use Gary's sword fighting techniques to a T right here and get this morale back in our favor so they don't take out too many of our men. If you don't have enough men after a battle, you might have to give up one of your ships. And as ridiculous a premise as it is, you apparently leave some of your gold on the ship that you give up. And the silver train's in town. Wow, we're just falling backwards into the money here. 107,000 gold pieces. Good lord. So that's silver train on top of probably the wealthiest town in the game. This is a fun little stretch we're experiencing right here. This is kind of insane. And they have to be scratching their heads as we're like trading goods with them. We're like, all right, you take these back. And they're like, what? You just killed many of our best friends, and now you're trying to barter and trading different supplies back and forth. Admiral Gibson. Pretty good rank right there. Hopefully one day we'll be an admiral professor. Very silly, but... So I'm thinking our sister is down in the southwestern point of the map. You can pull up the game map, you know, online. And, yeah, like Blaze said, we have a cap of 8 ships, so... Pick which one you want in that case. I think we're good on the party at this point. 395 men. Of course they're happy. We just got the treasure fleet and the silver train in the span of like a few in-game days. I'm sure they are happy. But yeah, when you pull up the in-game map, or not the in-game, but the map which is meant to come with the game, you can see it online, like I said, then you can kind of get an idea of where the maps that they show you in the game, like the ones that we have for our sister right here, you can kind of get an idea of where they might be. The internet map, let's just call it, is pretty accurate, even showing you kind of like small pieces of land. So in this case, it's sort of like a little, an outer bit of land that's kind of thin, and then we have a lake behind it, and then ocean to the north. And just looking at this map that we see online, as these guys just gave up, wise decision, we can narrow it down to, we can see this is pretty much the only area of the map where this type of land occurs. So I'm pretty sure if we take a look here, yeah, I think she's just south of this town, actually. By the way, little pro tip right here, when you're on foot, you move very slowly. If you go diagonally, it's a lot faster. But anyway, hit select, hit search, and we found our sister. And every time you find a member of your family, they will give you a new piece of a new map. In this case, a map to the Incan treasure. And this is definitely worth your time. This is like better than that haul at the silver train. And that looks very familiar. Is that right over there, sis? Are we stupid here? What's going on? I'm almost positive. Yeah, and you can look at the trees too. The little design of the symbols of the trees right there, that's also very helpful. Yeah, when you're looking at the map, you want to look at a few things. You want to look at the land-to-water ratio. And we'll attack this town while we're here. Why not? When else are we going to be back in this area, right? Might as well come down here and take Panama. To give us a chance to show you how to do the land battles here. So we have 3 different armies that we're commanding. Since we have such a big army right now, of, I guess like 300 some men, your whole army comes with you on land attacks. So first thing you want to do is hide 1 or 2 of your groups in the trees, and then split one out that's closer to the other armies. So I'm going to hide both of these, and we're switching between the armies with A. And I hide both of these in the trees, and they are confused by the this classic war maneuver right here. This is the Captain Professor Special. This is the maneuver which put us in the history books. They're completely confused. They don't know what to do right now. We hid one of our armies in the trees. Another one we left out in the open, and the other one just sort of made a diagonal move away from their fort, and they're just scratching their heads right now. They do not know what to do. So we're covered by the trees right now. They can't see us. As soon as we come out of the trees, that fort is going to shoot at us. So we want to stay covered as long as possible. And then once we come out, let's go diagonally to get a little bit more speed. And just charge it, and there we go. That's how you get to the fort. Your whole army just joins you there. And then it's business as usual, fighting this guy on top of the tower, while our respective armies go at it. Hello? There we go. I like his yellow shirt. I don't know why we would always have to don the white shirt. For Panama, 80,000 gold pieces, not too shabby. Kind of sucks that we didn't have any room in the hold to take more stuff. That's why it's important to not stay out too long. You want to make sure that you head back to some friendly towns to do some trading to empty out your hold. The only thing you need is food, by the way. Goods and sugar have no purpose for you except to sell them. And cannons just, for firing, obviously. So food's the only thing you need to keep your crew alive and happy and not mutineering. And there is the gold as promised. So 100,000, but still pretty good. Considering the average town gives us, 4 figures. That's pretty tasty. Crew's definitely happy after the last in-game week. We knocked out the treasure fleet, the silver train, and found the Incan gold treasure. That's just unprecedented riches in such a short span. That's pretty good. And we found our sister, which is going to help us with the pirate points. We have 4 lost family members, I should mention. Finding all 4 of them will give you a big boost in your score as we cut ahead, and we're headed back to the Port Royal area. So I think we've earned our promotion. Let's go see the governor. Still at war with the Spanish, that's good for us. Every now and then the governor's gonna offer you, alright, now we're a major. Alright, whatever. 850 acres, pretty darn good. So now we move on to the next member of our family. In this case, Admiral Sanchez knows about our dad. And we saw our first governor's daughter, I believe. And we'll bring in Blaze to give you a rundown on the governor's daughters momentarily. That should be entertaining. We're going to sell off some of our stuff. And you can see there's always fluctuating rates on the various different commodities. So now we're going to go to the town where they sell our dad. By the way, when you sell your ships, obviously that leaves you with less room in your hold, so you probably want to sell stuff before you sell your ships, and then, just to make the maximum profit and make sure you don't have to throw 11 tons of stuff overboard like we just had to do. But not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. So now we'll find out, or we'll get a new map, which is going to show us where our dad is. Hopefully there's some obvious landmarks around the piece of the map that we're given here. First things first, got to take out this town for I think the 2nd time here. I like it sometimes when they're so panicked, you don't even have to get that last swing in. That last stab, it's just, they shoot one of their guys, or we shoot one of their guys, and the guy just gives up. It's like, not Lenny. Everybody loves Lenny. Few extra stabs. Again, very cocky considering we just made him look foolish. I like it when we get a nice island chain looking like that, because that tells me that it's probably in the Florida Keys area, which is sort of in the central northern part of the map. That's my guess. With Spanish merchantmen, so we finally get a merchantman. You'll find every nationality sort of has its preferences for which kind of ships they'll generally have. 9 times out of 10, a merchantman is English. So, the heck is going on here? We're circling this guy. Come on. That's crazy. So hit or miss sometimes. But, so it's nice to finally be able to attack a merchantman and add it to our fleet. Decent space in the hold. There have been better, as Blaze mentioned, but I don't know, it's nice to have a nice kind of variety of ships under our command. I like to think. And yeah, we're not hiring right now. 378 men. They're not going to be happy forever. Even with 400, whatever, 1,000 gold that we have right now. So let's look for our dad. And en route to finding our dad, we're here at the French towns for the first time. This is just kind of northeast a little bit of Port Royal, for what it's worth. And they hate the Spanish too. That works out very well for us. Word must have gotten around to them that we've been killing Spaniards left and right, taking down their towns. Because you can see he gave us the max amount of land with that promotion. So we're starting at the bottom, wrong, every time we get our first promotion with a new nationality. And we don't just want promotions from England, we want as many as possible, so, I think English and French is pretty good. If we can get good statuses with both of them, then that'll help us when it comes time to retire and seeing, oh, you guys don't like the English. I'm not a Mr. Professor, what are you talking about? Wait, oh, this place is Spanish. This place is almost always French. They must have just taken it over. That's crazy. Whoa, we can't have that. We're going to have to crush them and rename this town in the name of England. That's a thing you can do, by the way. If your army is big enough, like ours is right now, and their town is small enough, yeah, let's just attack it on foot right here because it's so small. They only have 85 men to our 378, so with an overwhelming army of this size, I'm pretty sure their governor is going to run away. Yep. And now we get to put in whatever nationality we want. We'll go English because that's where we have the most sway. They'll probably appreciate it. So we can leave and head right back in. And maybe they don't even have a governor installed yet. I don't know. They've got some soul searching to do here, but we gave them a chance. Colonel Delgado. See if we can't capture him and trade him in to, I guess maybe the French, since there's no governor to see in the English town. But the reason that we have, like, I think 4 pirates or pirate hunters, you get them both, but why we have so many of these guys as our prisoners is because we captured them probably near Spanish towns and we couldn't deal with those people. I guess we just traded some off to the Spanish guy that we just ended up chasing off. One of life's little ironies, but alright, so now the governor's here. Love it when we can get some gold. And there we go. 450 acres of land and a promotion. It's a good look when you take over a Spanish town and rename it in the name of England. They really like that. And you'll see that if our status is high enough like it was there, the governor's daughter will just, if you don't propose marriage, it's very forward in this game, she'll become your friend and give you tips on where the treasure fleet and or silver train are, so that's handy. But we're going to jump ahead in the interest in not making this this walkthrough, this pirate's walkthrough, hours and hours long. So our father was up there in the Florida Keys area, so we just rescued him. So we have a piece of yet another Incan treasure. How about that? Every one of my family members seems to have a piece of a map for an Incan treasure. So now we're looking for our mother. But before we do that, I want to divide up the plunder, I think, which means we're going to break everything down. We kind of have too many men at this point. I'd rather just bank the money that I have. And that's basically what it is. It's like putting your money in the bank. So it's ridiculous the way that they divide up the money. You can get like all of your men killed for the most part before you divide up the plunder, thinking you might get more money, but just the remaining crew members will just end up getting more than you get, which is ridiculous. But anyway, so when you do that, it resets everything. We have that money in the bank now, so that's good. I don't care about that guy's crappy treasure map. It's probably for like 5,000 gold that we'd find if we tracked that down. So we lost all our ships when we did that. If there were more towns around, I would have sold off the rest of my ships and the goods and everything like that, but, you know, I'm not going to sweat it. Alright, War Galleon right off the bat, I'll take that. Upgrade from this sloop in the first 10 seconds of this second adventure here. So yeah, just a few months go by and it breaks up all your men. That army was getting a little too big anyway, so... And like I said, it's nice. Once you have a lot of money, it's probably safer to divide up the plunder and put that money where it can't be touched now. And we're starting over. And any money we collect now will start to go towards a new nest egg. Well, we'll add to our nest egg when we divide up the plunder again, but you know what I'm trying to say. So, got our 2 ships now. We're headed east. Yeah, it's a nice idea to divide up the plunder every now and then, just in case, disaster strikes. Ideally, you'll never have a ship sink or your crew mutiny on you, because if they do, they'll take some of your money, which is kind of lame, even if you beat them back down. If you lose in the sword fight, obviously I could see that'd be one thing. Yeah, they take the money then and put you in your ship's prison or whatever. Although, judging by how easily people tend to escape normally, our prisoners, even when we have like a crew of 400. Yeah, it is a mystery to me, no matter how many men that we have on our crew. These prisoners still find a way of escaping. Can we just have at least like one guy in charge of making sure nobody jumps overboard? Seems to happen a lot, but whatever. When you get too far away from the ship or the town that you captured someone at, then, no one's really interested in them anymore. San Juan, let's get it going. Got all capacity here on the sloop, 96 men. But yeah, once you divide up the plunder, all that money gets saved. It can't be touched anymore. I don't know where you have it in an offshore account or something like that, but so that's nice if you do end up losing all your money or a lot of your money next time in the next campaign. That doesn't get touched at least, but still, it's pretty rough. Of course, every time you do divide the plunder, it takes, I think, like 3 months before you can get back out there again, so we're not going to be young and fit forever. We'll make our rounds here, hit the cash machine. That is this little set of colonies here. Still looking for that Incan treasure. Isolated on an island. But while we're doing this, let's go to Fluff, who I understand has a link between the famous actor/comedian Robin Williams and this game. Fluff?
That's right. So the professor told you earlier that this game was ported to a lot of systems upon its release. While the NES version that we're showing you doesn't include it, most versions came with the full title of Sid Meier's Pirates, as Sid Meier was the designer behind it and several other popular strategy games at the time. According to Sid's business partner, the idea to attach his name as part of the title came from none other than Robin Williams, who was at a Software Publishers Association meeting they were at. Williams purportedly suggested that they put Sid's name on the box and use his reputation in the game industry to help promote the game, which they subsequently did. We already told you in the class on The Legend of Zelda how Robin Williams was a big video gamer in the 80s. Well, this is just more proof of it.
There you go. Yeah, it's hard to not like Robin Williams, but that was a good idea. From a business standpoint, I'm sure it did help the sales. And this was a great first game to pin his name to. Absolute classic. The crew is happy. All 200 men of them right now. It's good. Don't have to thin the ranks out or anything. It's funny how the Dutch are still wary of me. I've taken over many of their towns multiple times. Taken out a lot of their ships. You'd think by now they would just be like, I don't know about this guy. Let's see if we can't change that. And while we're having some fun with the Dutch here, let's go back to Fluff one more time to cover something which I honestly never gave that much thought to, but someone asked me about it at one point in the past, and I figured, who better to explain this than Fluff? So, Fluff, what can you tell us about taking Sunsight here in Pirates?
Sunsight is a feature in Pirates designed to allow you to identify your latitudinal, meaning your north-south location on the map, which can be a useful tool to pull up if you're ever completely lost, or if you just insist on complete in-game immersion. To properly take Sunsight and find your latitudinal location, align the tool with the center of the sun as the sun moves along the screen, and such that the very top of the tool is just under the bottom of the sun as it goes up and down like shown here. The latitude the game is displaying when the sun hits its peak spot before it starts coming down again is your current latitude. Note that on the easiest difficulty, the game automatically supplies your longitudinal location, allowing you to combine the two to pinpoint your exact location on the map supplied with the game, or the one which you found online. If you're playing on anything but apprentice difficulty, the longitude will not be supplied, so it's best to take Sunsight when you're nearby land so that you can search along your latitude to try and find your exact location based on familiar landmarks around you at that latitude. In this example, our latitude was 21 degrees, so in sweeping across that location going right to left, and combining that with the island here on the screen, we can reliably surmise that we're going right outside of Port Royale right now. Of course, if you have the game's map pulled up like we recommend in the first Briggs note, this feature is mostly redundant, considering you can typically identify your location based on the land around you without having any knowledge of your latitude or longitude. One last thing to note, every time you pull up the Sunsight feature, it advances the game time by a day no matter how long you have it open. I can't think of a more boring way to spend your time on the high seas, or a better way to alienate and antagonize your crew.
Very fair point, thank you, Fluff. Yeah, you can pull up the Sunsight by just going into the options, pausing the game when you're sailing about. But there you go, never had too much use for it myself, because again, if you have the map open, pretty straightforward. As we continue to add to our retirement fund here. It is kind of lame, though, that when we divide up the plunder, that no matter how many men you have in your crew, you'll always get the same amount of money. And I guess the especially lame part is if, you have a very small crew, like by design, if you killed a lot of them off, they'll still get paid more than you, which is just ridiculous. I mean, we're unbeatable, just tell the crew, hey, here's $10, thank you for your time. Good luck finding your next job. I'll be keeping all, 100,000 of these gold pieces. We're too nice, that's what I'm trying to say. Find some English towns around here. It's time to trade. Antigua. That works out. He might have a promotion for us. How much land do we get? For the Admiral, 300 acres. That's not very good. Major Delgado. Veracruz. Veracruz is not that close. As I'm looking at my map here. Oh, wow. So she's one of the better ladies in this game, and the fact that we easily impressed her to the fact that she's going to be our friend now and get us tips on where the treasure fleet and silver trains are, respectively. That bodes well for us. So if we can find the right lady, I think it might be time to settle down. We're about that age and status. I honestly didn't know. We haven't run into many governor's daughters lately, and we've gotten a lot of promotions since, so we'll see if we can't find her. Let's check in with the next... Here we go. Speak of the dam. Let's propose. All right, Admiral Professor. All right, so when you propose marriage, you fight a duel with the loser that she's seeing right now. And it's as easy as any other sword fight, so let's just let's embarrass him in front of our bride-to-be. And just like that, we're married. How about that? So the purpose of getting married in this game is just to add to your score in the end, your pirate score overall. See, again, can no one... It's my honeymoon. Can we at least watch The Prisoners while I'm kicking back and enjoying myself? Did we invite that guy to the wedding, actually? Fair question. We try to sell some more stuff off. So if you make friends, they just, give you the information on where things are. But if you get married, then that positively affects your score in the end, no matter who you marry. But there is a difference between the ladies, and I think right now we're going to throw it to, as we take on this neighboring town, let's throw it to Blaze with his official lady guide for pirates to let us know who's the best lady to marry. Well, I think I just kind of tip the hat on that one, but still, I'm looking forward to this. Here's Blaze's lady guide.
All right, let's talk about the ladies of pirates. This is my lady guide right here, and depending on which woman you marry, at the end of the game, you'll get a point bonus. The more attractive ladies will get you more points in the end. So we're going to rank them right now. And before you say, Blaze, that sounds a little bit crass, I'm going to make this seem a little bit better. And when I tell you that they are just as shallow as we have to be. All they care about is our money and our status, and that's all. So let's go ahead and rank these gold diggers one by one. First, the worst, lowest on the ranking is this lady in black right here. Got the book, kind of nerdy, got a very stern expression on her face. I'm going to use the game's term right here. The game's terms for, you'll find out if you marry her. She is shrewish and pestersome. Avoid her like the plague. She's very easy to court, I should say. Court is kind of a grandiose term, considering the whole process is she sees you've got money, she's into it, and you marry her. That's the extent of the courting process in this game. But she's normally going out with a major when you approach her. So if you're a major or better, you'll have no problem. But again, we can do better, you can do better. Such as number 2, or number 3, I guess, overall. The lady in green, she's got knitting. If you marry her, you will find her to be a friendly and attractive wench. Once again, game's terms, not mine. I'm not calling her a wench. Game is. She's normally being courted by a colonel, so if that's your status, you have a good chance. Next, second overall, we have the blonde lady with the fan. Maybe arguably the most attractive. I don't know, you could be the judge. She's normally courted by an admiral, and if you marry her, you'll find her to be a lovely and cheerful woman. At least we're finally referring to these ladies as women. And then, top overall, this is the one you want to hold out for if you can manage it, if you can pull it. The redheaded lady right here, showing a little bit of cleavage. I don't know, Sid Meier might have a thing for redheads, I guess. I'm not really sure, but she's got a cat. That's a bonus, I guess. Normally courted by a baron. Top of the totem. If you marry her, you'll find her to be an exciting and beautiful woman. You get the best point bonus by marrying her. Just make sure you have the status to win her heart. Heart's probably not the right word, but there you go. My Lady Guide for Pirates.
Thank you very much, Blaze. That entertained me to no end. As you see, we cut ahead and we got another map, this time to our lost mother. Just found the next Spaniard, tracked him down here. So now, if we go find our mom, as we speed things up a bit here, you will get another piece of the Incan treasure map. So again, I think I've said this before, but out of the 4 family members, you have a chance at getting a maximum of 4 Incan treasures if you can find each treasure the family member gives you from the 1/4 piece that they give you. I'm struggling with this one, so I think I'm going to just go ahead and admit my defeat here and try to find our mom now and get the next piece of the map to the treasure itself. Plus, it'll just be good to have Mom back, who I think looks exactly like our sister, come to think of it. I think overall it's our sister, our dad, our mom, and then last but not least, I think it's our uncle, actually. And while we're looking for this, just want to reiterate one more time, assuming it's been said already, but if not, it certainly bears worth mentioning. Just the importance of, before you go ahead and tie your anchor or drop an anchor on a lady, as I make up a terrible metaphor on the spot, before you propose marriage here in Pirates, make sure that you have a lot of friends and the governor's daughters spread out all over the Spanish Main. Not for any indecent reasons, but just so that, you can visit them and they'll tell you, even after you're married, they'll tell you the location of the whereabouts of the treasure fleet and the silver train. So once you're married, you can't make any more friends. Just important, worth mentioning. Hold on. I think we might have something here. This might be Mom. See if the, yeah, I see the trees and everything. Sometimes you gotta look at the topography like that. I think this is her right here. Search. Yep. Awesome. And she just happens to have another piece of that Incan map. Which I could even get behind if like the 4 members all had a piece of the same map. But the idea that they all have a quarter of a different map kind of gets me. But alright, so we have a bit more to go on now. As we head back to our ship. I kind of think of the 4 family members as the main objective to this game, because everything else, as you're rescuing your family members, what do we got here? Is this Havana? Havana, let's take Havana. 156, well, 96 men are coming in. Gotta do this one by the numbers. Can't take any damage here. And we gotta win the sword fight fast. But yeah, obviously you'll be taking out cities throughout the course of just playing the game. I suppose you could, if you wanted to, be like, you know, a nice pirate or something, and you just help everybody, just do missions for the governors. Which I forget if I talked about it earlier or not, but, you know, those can be, wow, outnumbered almost 5 to 1 here. Can't take any hits. Can't take too many, at least. We're not going to lose any men in our raid on Havana, because that would be kind of ridiculous. If we're not infamous. If we weren't infamous before, we certainly are now. That's ridiculous. A story spread across the Spanish Main of Admiral Professor taking down a city with an army 5 times his size and not losing a single man. The legend grows. Alright, so island chain, as we jump ahead here. It might be in the south, the southeast part of the map, kind of those Dutch colonies, a little Spanish down south, there's some French. Kind of the melting pot of this game where you get a lot of these different towns together, different nationalities and everything. Oof, that was a gimme. Again, one of those things that wouldn't fly on a harder difficulty, but whatever. But you know what? I've found that the longer you play the game, the harder it gets. Even on the same difficulty, even if you don't up it every time you divide up the plunder, because they give you the choice to, if you want, after you divide the plunder and kind of restart, they're like, all right, do you want to up the difficulty? And even if you say no and you stay on the same one, they just, I don't know, there's just, everything just seems to be a bit more difficult. I think a lot of that stems from the fact that you do make more of a name for yourself, and people quite genuinely do fear you. So it's harder to, I'm not doing your mission, but give me a promotion. Colonel Professor. Everyone's in Veracruz. Yeah, our lost uncle. Yeah, everyone just tends to run from you the more fearsome you become, which makes sense. It's kind of a hassle. Even the high-ranking guys who are supposed to have bigger pirate, you know, cojones, if you will, even they run at a certain point. So that gets frustrating, but yeah, those missions for the governors, as we speed things up a bit here, they can be fun. They range from, sometimes you have to go rescue like a captured duke, so this guy shouldn't run from us. That's pretty much the highest level you can attain. We have no wind here. You want to go, right? Alright, that kind of sucks. I might have to run if he hits me again. Ooh. Alright, good thing we were close enough. You wrecked my ship, Duke. I'm gonna pay for that. In stabs. Yeah, sometimes you rescue the governor's son, who's captured in other towns, so you can like, I don't know if you can sneak in or if you just have to attack the town to get him back. Sometimes you just have to like deliver a message across the world in the context of the game. You know, things like that are the basic missions. Something we're not really doing here because it's not too different. Yeah, we did attack this place before. Sometimes you try to sneak in and Fun fact, though, you can be on foot and attack a town, or try to march into a town, and it'll say that the town opens fire on you. By the way, we tried doing this the nice way. Now we're doing it the professor way. Yeah, you can march into a town if you're on foot, and if the town, if you're enemies with them and they'll fire at you and drive you away, it actually doesn't hurt you, best I can tell. It doesn't hurt you or take any of your men out or anything. But if you try sailing into a town which is hostile towards you, they can and probably will sink one of your ships. So it's a good way to lose a lot of money and piss off your crew in the process. So just for what it's worth, just the only time I've ever done that is when I'm making a mistake. I accidentally hit the wrong thing, or I don't realize that it's a Spanish town or something like that. Much of their gold. How does everyone know I'm coming? Like I said, we've made a good name for ourselves by now. We have decent titles with 2 different kingdoms. That's generally what I try to go for. Just max out that English title, and then just go as high as I can with the French. Back to Port Royal, where we began our journey. Allies with the French, I think he said. I'm not going to change anything. Admiral Brigands is going to be... I keep saying Brigand, that was the old name. Admiral Professor is going to be Admiral Professor. Dang it. That would have fetched a pretty penny, that guy. Or would have been worth a decent promotion. Veracruz. Alright, so we've finally been talking about this place for a while. Finally here. Hopefully this guy's still here with information. I don't know why these guys that have maps to our family always have to hang out in these remote, obscure cities. Nowhere near civilization. $37. Yeah, we're going to have to win this one fast. This might be bad. This might be our first capture, if we're not careful. Alright, there we go. Even when you have a decent morale lead advantage here, they can still, take a shot, clear out 8 of your men or something. Alright, here's the guy. Stab him extra for making me sail so much. Die. That looks like it would be in the Keys area. Kind of the north center part of the map. He's the final family member we have to rescue, though. It's not that big of a deal that we haven't found the Incan treasure yet, I have to say. And I think we may have found... Let's see here. Make sure we don't dig needlessly. It's about midway up here. There we go. Blonde guy. Yeah, that didn't really help me at all. I'm pretty positive at this point. It's just in the southeast corner of the map. So let's skip ahead. Let's say hello to our wife. Our lovely wife. Not doing your missions just because you're my father-in-law. And your wife will tell you where everything is. Cartagena. And when it says Peru or Spain, that just means it's not accessible. You have to wait for a bit, so. But, yeah, the fact that we haven't been getting... This is only going to be the second and final Incan treasure that we can get for this playthrough. That's not that big of a deal, because if you topple the treasure fleet or the silver train, then, you pretty much... You can almost make as much in one of those as you can from the Incan treasure, so... It's not that big of a deal, and it just keeps replenishing on top of that, so... Really not a problem. Not your laundry boy. I'm whatever title I am at this point. It's weird to me that, like, some of these, if it says the town is flourishing, that they'll give you insanely better prices for all your goods. Like, a town that's struggling, you know, I get it, they can only afford to, like, pay 20 or 30 gold for a, bag of sugar or something. But how is the town just across the channel here charging or offering, like, 10 times that amount? Like, do they have no concept of supply and demand and capitalism and rates? I don't know. I'm overthinking it. Anyway, we're rich. Speaking of capitalism, 100,000 gold pieces. Probably should have checked here earlier, but anyway, crew's happy. That's all that matters. Might be time to almost divide up the plunder again and just get an idea of what we doing your jobs. Because he's not going to give me a promotion. It was like that 120 gold pieces per sugar. Like, I'd go straight for that, but I just have so much crap to unload right now. It doesn't... Can we please just have someone in charge of the prisoners? It shouldn't be that hard. Anyway, make our way back to, I guess, St. Kitts, where our wife is. As good a place as any to divide up the plunder. Sell as much stuff as we can along the way. Here we go, finally. Some cash for one of these losers. And I do call him a loser specifically because, like, how many other prisoners escaped while he was in our custody? Like, what's your problem, Captain Ruin or whatever Ruiz? I guess the lower tier guys aren't quite as bright. Don't know how to escape quite as effectively. Was this not just like an ally town and now all of a sudden Spanish, by the way? That was kind of weird. Like, there are 3 men firing the cannons. All right, hard left, hard left. Oh God, this might be a mistake. Okay, that was close. Need a bigger army so we can take back this town. In the name of, I don't know. I don't remember whose it was, but let's give it to the British. Always looks good on our CV. No money. But we got space for the goods by now. Not so much the cannons. Antigua. Alright, our friend, let's see. Where is everything right now? Maracaibo and Panama. Alright. Interesting. And we'll head back to St. Kitts here. See our lovely wife and her cat. What, Spanish? What? Son of a... What is happening? I leave town. Is my wife okay? So we snuck in. I just gave a prisoner to this guy. That's gotta be really weird. I've killed so many of his friends. And they got no money. Is my wife back there? Is that a weird question to ask the governor? I don't mind tossing some stuff. Alright, so I guess we're still married? I have no idea. Kind of in uncharted waters here, pun intended. I've never seen this happen before. I was kind of all set to divide up the plunder, so I think I still will. And that's one way to find out if we're married or not still. So we've sold off pretty much everything I can, so let's just see where we are right now. In terms of score-wise. Let me go ahead and officially end it. So we have 43,000. We found all of our family members. We're pretty wealthy, relatively credible. Alright, exciting and beautiful woman. We found all 4 family members, so we're a rich banker. 78 pirate points. Good, not great. We could do better, so I have an idea. Alright, so I kept playing off camera and earned myself a few more promotions for the now Duke Professor. Count in the eyes of the French. Bought a letter of marque there at the end. Kind of say, my bad. Hopefully this makes up for the thousands of your friends that I killed. And the Spanish hate us, of course. So now we're adding another 21,000 gold to the pot. Not too shabby. So let's retire here and see what we've cleared overall after all of our adventuring. Alright, so 76,000 gold, 6,400 acres of land makes us an extremely wealthy man. And the fact that we're a duke and a count makes us a very important member in our community. Still have the wife, she survived the takeover of St. Kitts. I don't know when we got wounded, but we're a happy, fun-loving man. Let's see where that lands us on the pirate scale. The pirate points, there it is. Perfect 100, King's Advisor. I've never gotten a 100 before. And I retired off camera just before this, before I took out a couple more towns and I think got one more French promotion at 98. So this is pretty much the bare minimum to get a perfect score in this game. Take that as you will. Thank you so much for attending this week's class. Thank you to all my TAs. Please subscribe if you have not. We do one of these classes every single week. Would love to have you aboard. And yeah, please like this video. Leave a comment if you have good memories of this game or if you ever had any problems with it. Anything you ever got stuck on. But there you go. We'll see you next week in the same spot for next week's class. Hope to see you then. Duke Professor. I like the sound of that. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and comment on this video, and click subscribe if you haven't already, as this seriously helps me to keep making great content for you. And check the description of this video to see what song is playing right now.